WASSCE 2025, Core Mathematics, question number 7. We have this diagram, which has not been drawn to scale. And it says that the shaded region of the figure is a pattern to be produced in a steel casting shop. If the area of triangle QRS is 98 meters squared, calculate, correct to 1 decimal place, the A, value of X, B, area of the pattern, C, perimeter of the pattern. A part of the question requires us to calculate for the value of X. Okay, so when we look at this triangle, the bigger one, it is a right-angled triangle. And we are given in the question that the area of this right-angled triangle is 98 meters squared. Okay, so we need to first of all calculate for the area. So now we extract the bigger triangle, and then that is it. So consider triangle QRS, which is QRS. We have the height to be 7 meters, and then we have the base to be X plus 2X plus 3. So here, the base is X plus 2X plus 3. So we say the base M is equal to X plus 2X, that is 3X plus 3. So that is the base. And the area of the triangle is equal to A being equal to 98. Now, area of a triangle is half times the base. In this case, the base is 3x plus 3 times the height, which is 7. And that will give us the 98. Now, this is a simple equation. So let us solve this simple equation. So here, what do? We multiply through by the LCM of the denominators, which is 2. So in so doing, we are going to get 2 times 1 over 2 into 3x plus 3 is equal to, times 7 is equal to 2 times 98. Now, 2 cancels the 2. So here we have 7 times the 1. That gives us 7 into 3x plus 3 being equal to, now when we multiply this, it gives us 196. Now let's expand. This times this 21x. 7 times 3 gives us what? 21 is equal to 196. Now let's group like terms. 21x is equal to 196. This crosses, becomes minus 21. So 21x is equal to, when we subtract this, it is going to give us 175. So we divide both sides by 21. So it becomes x is equal to 175 over 21. So we have x being equal to, the division gives us 8.333 meters. But the question says we should write it to 1 decimal place. So 1 decimal place is here is less than 5. So it's going to be 8.3 meters. And we say 1 decimal place. Okay, the B part of the question says that we should calculate for the area of the pattern. This is the area of the pattern, the shaded region. Now, this diagram, I redrew it and then labeled it. I labeled the shaded region, that is the pattern, to be C. And then I labeled this right angle triangle, the smaller one here, to be B. And then I labeled the whole big right angle triangle, this one, to be A. So look at where I've placed A. And also the hypotenuse of the bigger triangle, I labeled it Z. And then the hypotenuse of the smaller triangle, I labeled it Y. Okay, so I have extracted the smaller right angle triangle, which is the B, to be this. So that is the 7, and that is the 2x plus 3 over here. Now, we are supposed to calculate for the area of the shaded region. How do we get it? We first of all have to calculate for the area of this big right angle triangle. Then we calculate for the area of this smaller right angle triangle. Then we subtract the area of this smaller right angle triangle from the area of this bigger right angle triangle. Then we get the area of what? The shaded region, which is the pattern. So now let us calculate for the area of this smaller right angle triangle. Okay, now formula we know is half base times height. This is the base. And now we have calculated the value of the x to be 8.333. So here we say that the base is equal to b is equal to, that is it, 2x plus 3. But the x we are looking for is, the x we calculated for is 8.333 meters. Okay, now let's calculate the value for b. So the base b is equal to 2 times 8.333 plus the 3. Okay, so now when we multiply 2 by this, it gives us the b, which is equal to 16.67 plus 3. So we have the b, which is the base, equal to 19.67 meters. Okay, now with this calculated, we can go ahead and calculate for the area of this triangle. So we say that the area of triangle QST, that means this QST, is equal to capital B is equal to half times the base. The base is what we have calculated here to be 19.67 meters times the height, which is the 7 meters. So the B is equal to, let's multiply the numerators. When we multiply the numerators, it is going to give us 137.69 meters squared all over 2. So the B, which is the area of this smaller right angle triangle, when we divide this by that, it gives us 68.85 meter squared. Therefore, the area of the pattern, that is the shaded region, is equal to the area of these bigger right angle triangle. And the area has already been given in the question to be, so but before then, the area is, so let's say this is C is equal to, the area of the shaded region is equal to C, is equal to the area of the bigger one, which is capital A, minus the area of the smaller one, which is what? Capital B. So in this case, we have C is equal to, now the bigger area has been given in the question to be 98 meters squared, minus the area of this smaller triangle, which we have just calculated to be this, that is 68.85 meter squared. So when we do the subtraction, it is going to give us 29.15 meter squared. But the question says we should approximate to 1 decimal place. So this being approximated to 1 decimal place will be 29 point, this is 5. So we approximate to be what? 2 meter squared. Then we say 1 decimal place. C, calculate the perimeter of the pattern. So that is the pattern. So the perimeter is distance around a plane figure. So the perimeter is going to be x plus y plus z. Okay, so how do we get y, z? The x we have already calculated for. Now, the y here is the hypotenuse of this smaller right angle triangle. So let's go and calculate using the Pythagoras theorem. So we have extracted the smaller right angle triangle. So we say using the Pythagoras theorem, we are going to have y squared being equal to the base. The base of this we have already calculated to be this. So it's going to be the base, which is 19.67 squared plus 7 squared. So lack of space, let's go here. Y squared is equal to, now when we square this, it gives us 386.9 plus, when we square 7, gives us 49. So y squared is equal to, when we add this, it gives us 435.9. So we find the square root of both sides, giving us y is equal to square root of 435.9. So y here gives us 20.88 meters. Now that we have calculated for the value of y, we need to calculate for the value or the length of z. So let us extract the bigger right angle triangle, which is here. So the base of it is 3x plus 3. We've done that. Now, let's calculate and see. So we say b, but x is equal to 8.333 meters. Okay, so if that is the case, then we say the k, which is the base, in this case, will be 3 into 8.333 plus the 3. So lack of space, let me come here. The k, which is the base, is now equal to, when we multiply this 3 by that, it gives us 24.999 plus 3. So k gives us, when we do the addition, it gives us 27.999 meters. So k is equal to, that is the base in this case. When we approximate this, it gives us 28 meters. So the base here is 28 meters. So in applying the Pythagoras theorem, we are going to have z squared is equal to the base squared. The base we have calculated is what? 28 squared plus this side, which is 7 squared. So z squared being equal to 28 squared. 28 squared gives us 784 plus 7 squared, 49. Z squared, when we add, it gives us 833. We find the square roots of both sides. We have z being equal to square root of 833. So z is equal to 28.86 meters. Therefore, the perimeter of the pattern, that is the shaded region, is equal to P is equal to the X plus Y plus Z. So we say P is equal to, now the value of X is 8.333 meters plus the value of Y is equal to 20.88 meters plus the value of the Z, which we now calculated to be 28.86 meters. So the perimeter is equal to, when we add, it gives us 58.073 meters. But the question says that we should write it to 1 decimal place. So in writing this to 1 decimal place, it's going to be 58 point, we approximate, then it's going to be 1 meter, and we say 1 decimal place. Subscribe, like, share, and discuss with your friends. Thank you.